Follow the Orchid Path Home, Chapter 1. I sit in the darkened room, huddled in the corner. My hands clutch my dress. I'm terrified. I feel fear everywhere. It is the unseen monster that creeps through my body and around the room. Now, crouching in the corner, invisibility is my one wish. I'm waiting for the Madame. She ordered me into the room just moments ago. Along with the men Chet Fry and George Bidden, who run the compound, known in the community as the Asylum for Orphaned and Troubled Girls, is Madame Hilda Strain. She possesses terrifying beauty. Her raven hair poofs upward at the top and falls around her back and arms in voluptuous, thick tresses. Her wide eyes pierce a shimmering green, and her sleek eyebrows arc like the black cat of Halloween. Her muscular arms mirror the brazen strength she possesses inside. Evil emits from her body as she forages through the house, spying things to criticize, blame, and antagonize us for. Though there were a few occasions, she seldom attacks us physically, but she bears on us a barrage of obscenities and cruelties with the likeness of Lucifer himself. I'm almost sure I saw the Pythoness's tongue fork when she hissed at me earlier today during morning chores, for accidentally dropping a dish while washing. A plate breaking in most households merely requires a broom and a dustpan, but one would think it was Madame's great-grandmother's crystal serving bowl that crashed to the floor. I took the broken dish pieces outside to the trash. I'm guessing that is why she sent me in here, although rather belatedly. That occurred 2 hours ago. In my mind, I try to escape the wrath that is sure to befall me, and I squeeze my eyes as tight as I can. The physical annihilation of my body I can block out, but the verbal tirade thrown on me daily seep into my soul. I've heard her piercing words so frequently I believe all that she says and more. I loathe myself more than all the supervisors combined. I look into the mirror on the other side of the room. I barely eat, so I'm a mere waif of a thing, bony, with pale, pasty skin. My long brown hair falls around my skinny body in stringy strands. My large blue eyes bulge more now because I'm so frightened. I cry out in a whisper, "God, if you are out there, please, just let me disappear." Just as I finish breathing my desperate prayer, the door opens, and the witch storms to the door and faces me. I can feel the heat from Madame's vile evilness sweep over me, and I gasp at the horror before me. I try to breathe, but my insides tighten. If my lungs could express any tumult, they would have shrieked in pain. I suck in the air as I look at the sight in front of me. The ringing in my ears heightens to a shrill pierce. Sparkles appear on the wall, and I feel faint. "Look what you have done!" Madame Strain screams at me. The yell abruptly breaks me out of my near spill. She continues to screech at me. "You did this to her. She found the broken dish pieces and slit her wrist. If you hadn't broken that dish, this never would have happened." "But," I tried, "don't contradict me, you horrible, worthless thing." She lit a stream of vulgarities at me and threw the lifeless body of Marla, a fellow boarder and my friend, onto my lap and stormed out of the room. I grab my friend's shoulders and hold them tight. I see a few cuts and blood on her arms, but I know from the bruises on her body and puffiness on her face that this was no cut-glass suicide. "I don't know why you died, but I promise I'll find out. I promise on the last hair of my head I will." My head falls on Marla's body, and I sob until Chet and George sweep her away from me. I am Elena Grace Livingstone, and that story happened to me 10 years ago when I was 12. I am just one of 16 girls housed at a compound. I have no recollection of my early life, in part because I purposely blank out so much, but also because I have no pictures or memories from where I came. I cannot recall ever spending any time with my parents. My birth certificate, one possession I have in my keeping, states my name as Elena Grace Livingstone, and my parents' names are Edward and Liza. Even my place of birth is nondescript, the name of a city I am unable to decipher. The connection between my parents' disappearances, or perhaps death, and my present situation seems strangely vague. My life has not changed too drastically from 10 years earlier. After Marla's death, the other girls and I banded closer together.
though each of us has a private life of seclusion stemming from the pain we each endure. We react to the humiliation dealt us in different ways. The men who govern the compound, along with Hilda, are selfish pigs of men who hover over and prey on our lives. Chet Fry acts as leader of the compound, though there seems to be an underlying power struggle between him, George, and Hilda. His overbearing personality and gorilla-like stature combined with his lusty drive for women and money repulse me. Knowing him, he'll come across pious in the community, as if he's responsible for creating a nurturing, quality home for girls like us, and that unnerves me to the core. That I cannot reveal the truth leaves me hopeless. George Biddens, a passive-aggressive nature, keeps the current of tension alive and electric around us as he underhandedly attacks Chet's authority. His towering, spindly body, along with his chiseled nose, chin, and beady eyes, are the polar opposite of Chet's, as is his temperament. My existence here among them has consisted of chores, sewing, some basic schooling, which I supplemented with voracious reading of any book I could find. But along with the almost normal-sounding life came endless verbal abuse from Madame Strain, and rape and physical abuse from both men. They often took pictures of some of the girls in naked poses. I'm not sure what they used them for, but it can't be good. They allowed a few men in from the community and swore them to secrecy of the true intent of the asylum, and gave us to them as favors. We are frightened, displaced girls. For over 10 years now, Chet and George have provided silks, cottons, and polyesters, so some of us can make scarves, purses, and other similar accessories. I'm guessing they bought them inexpensively from an illegal source, as they are very costly. Their intent in having these items made is not for our enjoyment. They've told us from our earliest recollection of the debt that we owe them. If we pay it, we can earn our freedom, but it is impossible. They've only allowed us to use some of the money from our creations toward the debt. They say they need to use the money for more important things. But I love to sew, and since I have created for many years, I take great pains to produce intricate pieces. Not to please the men who dictate my life, but because designing something of beauty gives me great pleasure. The joy I experience while crafting shuts out the misery, hopelessness, and horror that I live through on a daily basis. The scarf I'm currently working on is part of my Moroccan design series. I have several different scarves that are similar in theme and color, but vary in material and pattern. On my scarf I have subtly stitched the word please in such wide curlicues that only the most observant will notice. It is part of my message that I hope someday someone will discover. Shortly after Marla's death, Maria, formerly Marla's roommate, visited me in the middle of the night. Psst! My eyes flew open. Before I had time to dread what might befall me, Maria put her finger over my lips. I sighed in relief. I need to tell you something very important, Elena, she told me. I nodded sleepily. It's about Marla Madden. I can't sleep at night anymore. I had to tell someone. I saw what happened to her. My mind immediately perked. Just the details I had been searching for the last couple of weeks. Now I'd know the truth.